For decades, shonen manga series have used a certain trope as a climactic showdown between rivals. An easy-to-learn but hard-to-master literary device that can elevate a story into higher states of emotional impact. For some, it is a cliché that can ruin an otherwise well-written system of power, while for others it can be an event carrying a lot of emotional and artistic value. One of the more controversial of these events is Monkey D. Luffy's awakening of his devil fruit in One Piece. Discourse raged on about the implications the power-up had on the story going forward, with claims that it ruined the story with a plot twist that seemingly came out of nowhere, with some even claiming the silliness of the power-up had clashed with the seriousness of the arc. However, this is far from the truth. There is a lot of setup that leads to the climax of the Wano arc, going as far back as some of the earliest arcs of the story. The power-up known as Gear 5 completely envelops One Piece's core themes of fighting for freedom and childlike imagination. To completely understand what led to such a grand finale to one of the most anticipated endings to a manga storyline, we need to go back to the one that started it all, Dragon Ball Super Saiyan. The Dragon Ball series, an absolute titan of manga history, was known to be a series about martial arts and defeating planetary foes in grandiose ways. But it wouldn't remain this way for the entire length of the series. In Dragon Ball's Namek saga, Goku watches his childhood best friend Krillin be killed in an explosion at the hands of the story's prevailing villain Frieza. And in a fit of rage, he transcends his physical capabilities to reveal to the readers his true form, also known as the Super Saiyan transformation that so many people have come to know and love. The event has since become a trope in shonen manga storytelling, and among other things, has given Dragon Ball the title of grandfather of shonen manga. With this singular moment, Dragon Ball spawned a new era of battle shonen stories, each with their own unique power system and eventual character transformations, or as the community likes to call them, final forms. While no one can deny that a flashy transformation leading to a big clash between rivals can be dopamine-inducing, there is something special about one that is done right, being justified both in storytelling and impact. While other very popular manga series such as Naruto, Bleach, and Hunter x Hunter have all used rage as a powerful emotion to induce some substantial changes in their main characters, One Piece uses the opposite, total and unrestricted freedom. The build-up to the power-ups in both Dragon Ball Z and One Piece are alike, with mentions and foreshadowing being prevalent in both stories as they progress to their climactic reveal. Vegeta introducing the legend of the Super Saiyan in Dragon Ball Z, building up to its reveal, is not unlike Jinbei and Who's Who's conversation about the sun god Nika, who liberated the slaves, and Zunisha's proclamation that the legendary figure Joyboy had returned. One Piece at its very core has always had three main driving points to its story: freedom, the idea of dreams, and childlike imagination. Luffy is the embodiment of these core ideas that Eiichiro Oda presents to us. He is a person with a wild imagination whose goal is to become the freest pirate in the world, and with a secret wish so wild that even his own crew doesn't seem to fully understand it. Time and time again, Monkey D. Luffy has gone island to island, liberating the residing people who until then were under the governing power of some evil entity. A true freedom-fighting icon, he entrusts his life to his best friends and wishes freedom not only upon himself but everyone around him and everyone he meets. Luffy's devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, or rather the Hito Hito no Mi model Nika as it has recently been revealed, also matches these exact goals. In Jinbei and Who's Who's conversation, Nika is said to have been an ancient legendary figure whom the slaves believed would bring them liberation. This is exactly what we see happen as Luffy liberates the people of the country of Wano, and ultimately defeats Kaido in a spectacular feat. The pose Nika is in while being talked about matches exactly what we see in the bonfire scene of Skypiea and also Brook's pose in Fishman Island. While merely foreshadowing a plot device doesn't justify its execution, Gear 5 also has thematic reason for its presentation and its seemingly limitless capabilities. This is where the controversy comes in, however, as some believe the presentation of Gear 5 to clash with the emotional impact of the story, even regarding Gear 5 as Toon Force as a term of mockery for its goofy appearance. Although, the gear system has always been about Luffy using his imagination to enhance his rubber body and eventually implementing Haki alongside with it, Gear 5 is only the natural next step for unlocking true imaginative power. To see this, let's recount every type of gear Luffy has used in the past and why the build-up to Gear 5 works so well. People often seem to forget that the way the gears work in One Piece is that it is not a recognized power system within the story, but rather all the creative ways that Luffy has used his rubber properties, and later on in combination with his Haki power. Gear 2, as the first example to this, is revealed while the crew is in Enies lobby. Luffy observed the way CP9 used Shave and invented his own method for replicating it, using his rubber body to his advantage to speed up the pumping of his blood and consequently generating a mass amount of power. This wasn't without its drawbacks, however, because as Rob Lucci himself points out during Luffy's fight against him, Luffy was using his legs to pump his blood rapidly, sending his heart into overdrive and essentially hacking away at his own lifespan. This is a common theme in the gear abilities, as each would introduce a new drawback that kept the stakes interesting. The next step to this is Gear 3, which is again a showcase of imaginative thinking in Luffy's part, as seen with him blowing air into his hand to turn it into a giant balloon-looking limb, also with the idea of generating more power. This was also revealed during the Enies Lobby arc, and readers would have to wait for quite a while before they saw what came next. Gear 3 also had a disadvantage, making Luffy small for a period of time, although this downside went away after Luffy achieves mastery of the ability. Naturally, Gear 4 was eventually revealed in Luffy's fight against Doflamingo in Dressrosa. Nicknamed Bounce Man at the time, it is a mix of the previous two gears Luffy invented and his armament haki, becoming a giant bouncing man capable of high offense and defense alike. There were two more models of Gear 4 that were revealed in the story, those being Tank Man, an absolute titan of defense, first revealed during Luffy's fight against Cracker in Total Land, and Snake Man, which gives Luffy a massive boost in speed, and allows him to extend his arms and change directions for powerful attacks. Of course, the fourth gear abilities also had their downsides, leaving Luffy unable to use his haki for 10 minutes, putting him at a large disadvantage. Each with their upsides and downsides, the three different Gear 4 forms are the pinnacle of Luffy's imagination and willingness to go far and beyond what is expected of him. However, inside Luffy resided an avatar of boundless creativity so powerful, no one can even attempt to fathom its limits. We've arrived at Gear 5. Watching the legend of the sun god Nika unravel before my eyes was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It felt as if every drop of time and effort I put into this series was building up to this one moment. The reveal that would shock the world and split the fanbase in half. Every hint that was given to us was revealed immediately, be it the bonfire scene in Skypiea, Brook's similar-looking Nika pose in Fishman Island, the numerous times someone in the story has pointed out that the way Luffy used rubber wasn't how rubber actually works, the endless sun imagery throughout the story, the list goes on and on. Most, if not all, big reveals in the story pale in comparison, thematically speaking. It simply makes sense. It isn't just the Gomu Gomu no Mi being revealed to have another name, but it's also the peak of Luffy as a character. No other ability would suit him better than the one embodying imagination. It is the man who almost ate the world's most well-known assassin by turning into a giant head, caught lightning with his bare fists, and punches a hole straight through Kaido's face wielding this power. No elemental or godlike power could surpass the imaginative power of Luffy's mind as well as his Devil Fruit, the perfect power cap to the future king of the pirates, bringing freedom and smiles wherever he is present. The reveal was also interesting when it came to the debate for Devil Fruits versus Haki. Discourse has been present ever since Haki was introduced, as to whether it rendered Devil Fruits obsolete. Kaido was the embodiment of a lot of One Piece readers in that regard, as he also believed that Haki was the ultimate power and that in a duel, the one with the stronger Haki would prevail. Kaido's statement is further supported with the recent displays of power by Shanks and Garp during the Egghead arc. It's true that it was Haki that did a lot of the preliminary damage to Kaido during the raid on Onigashima, but it was a Devil Fruit ability that ultimately sent him to the Earth's core, ending the debate with Luffy bringing Devil Fruits and Haki together for one final punch into the ground. The actual execution of Gear 5 was flawless as well, nothing like a goofy jump rope scene juxtaposing the seriousness of the arc up until that point, right? Well, yeah, but it's more than that. It isn't simply a deus ex machina that was used to resolve the plot of Wano, but rather a well-planned and thought-out idea that has its seeds all over the story of One Piece. It is a well-known piece of trivia at this point that Oda had thought of much of the story as he began writing it, and even before that. Whether a certain line of dialogue or visual panel counts as foreshadowing for this specific plot point is a matter of debate. However, it is undeniable that this power-up didn't come out of nowhere. It was the meticulously crafted climax of everything leading up to chapter 1044, and is a setup for everything that is yet to come. One Piece at its peak is untouchable. While anyone can argue about sales and whether they serve as an indicator to a story's quality, no one can deny that One Piece has stood strong for decades because it touches the hearts of many. It is not mere chance that brought the story to over 100 volumes, but rather a testament to the unquestionably grand world Oda has created. And it speaks to more than just Oda's ability to write a fantastic story. He's trying to tell us that there is limitless creativity and imagination within all of us. All we have to do is search. People are beings of endless possibilities and aspirations, and that's what the Straw Hat Crew represents. A weird group of people and fish and reindeer and cyborg that all have their own goals and dreams, yet they come together to partake in a journey unheard of. Who knows where the story is going next? We've entered the final saga, and the truth of the world within One Piece is unraveling in front of our eyes. The time spent in the island of the future, Egghead, and everything that has happened alongside it has given us much to think about. It is almost bittersweet knowing that we are going to see the peak of One Piece that has yet to be revealed, knowing it will all end soon. Whatever may happen in the future, we can rest assured that there is one person who will bring joyful closure to all that's to come. The future king of the pirates and the sun god himself.
モンキー D ルフィよろしくに